The following live stream has been pre-recorded. Any special weather reports or tornado warnings that are present during this program should be checked within 30 minutes from your local television stations. Thank you.
Powered by Riverside FM.
Live from Riverside, this is AJ&E News. Now reporting, AJ Baker and Ethan Jakowski. Good evening to everyone at home. I'm AJ Baker. Ethan Jakowski has the night off. We were intending to start a broadcast last night, but we had some unforeseen circumstances occur, which means that we are going to possibly be having an extended broadcast in this program, meaning that some of the stories from last night have carried over. I still have them in the system, so I'm gonna present them anyway. So just to note, this may be an extended broadcast, meaning that if the current video that you're watching right now reaches over an hour and 15 minutes, we will need to split it up into a second part. That's not under my control, really. It's just what we've tested and what we've done with the Riverside system before, and the specific system that we use. By the way, if you do want to check out Riverside for any of your live streams or newscasts or anything that you might want to do with it, or for podcasting, please consider it and visit riverside.com or riverside.fm. Okay, we start this evening with a reach of empowerment when Savannah Guthrie returned to the Today Show this past Monday, or yesterday, Monday. We have a piece from the Today Show. We just have her opening monologue from, obviously she's been blessed with all of the support, and the search for Nancy Guthrie is still going on, but she has made the decision to come back to the Today Show. And with that, we have her opening monologue. Here is her on the Today Show yesterday.
Good morning. Welcome to Today on this Monday morning. We are so glad you started your week with us, and it is good to be home.
Yes, it is good to have you back at home.
Well, here we go. Ready or not? Let's do the news.
Yes, so good to have you back.
We are back at 8:30 on this beautiful Monday morning, and it's a special Monday morning for us and for this crowd as well. Special because we're welcoming back our North Star. Yeah. SG, come on out here. Come on back up. They've been waiting for it. How does it feel?
These signs are so beautiful. You guys have been so beautiful. I've received so many letters, so much kindness to me and my whole family. We feel it. We feel your prayers. So thank you so much.
It's not just today. They've been out here
every day.
Every day.
This is such a nice
signs.
pocket square. I don't want to slobber on it. Okay, it is. I know. I'm sorry.
How little is a million of them?
Okay. We love you.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can
Okay, that was the Today Show. Thank you for that. I don't exactly know what's going to happen in the rendering of that, but if any technical problems did occur with that, we do apologize for that. Of course, we try to do our best here. Anyway, next up is a pretty surprising story. A Minneapolis... excuse me, that's our next one. An Indianapolis councilman on the board has had a shooting occur at his home for apparently what was against data centers in his state. For more information on this and how the shooting occurred and how it was sparked, here's the CBS Evening News with Tony DeCole.
Data centers are used to store, train, and operate AI models. They are controversial as well because they gobble up power and water. But in Indianapolis overnight, the politics of data centers turned violent when someone shot up the home of a councilman who voiced his support for one. CBS News correspondent Chanel Call joins us with details.
Tony, just days after voting in favor of building a new data center in Indianapolis, local council member Ron Gibson says he woke up to the sound of gunfire overnight. Gibson said 13 rounds were fired at his home while he and his 8-year-old son were asleep. Some of those bullets landing just steps from their dining room table where his son was playing with Legos the day before. When he stepped outside, he says he found this handwritten note reading "No data centers" under the doormat.
There are real benefits tied to this development. Construction is expected to support roughly 300 jobs over a 3-year period.
While some councilors argued the data center will bring revenue and jobs, there was pushback from residents over environmental and quality of life concerns. The vote to move forward passed 6-2. Indianapolis police are calling this an isolated and targeted incident, and police have yet to identify a suspect. And one group that protested that data center last week released a statement today saying in part, violence has no place in our community or in our advocacy. The FBI now assisting in the investigation. Tony?
Chanel, thank you very much.
That was Tony DeCopel and his team working on that. Thank you so much for reporting on that story. Now, to some more sad news this evening. We actually have multiple stories, but this first main one, this came in last night. A shooting involving multiple excuse me, let me restart that again. A shooting in San Francisco involving multiple people wounded was sparked after Immigrations and Customs Enforcement were there in San Francisco. And the community is wondering what is next. We have 2 stories on this. We have, starting off with Fox 9 in San Francisco.
Let's start today with new video.
Excuse me, in Minneapolis. That was a large... Excuse me, that's in Minneapolis. Thank you.
With new video being shared by Minneapolis police showing a new perspective of a shooting involving federal agents back in January.
The night of January 14th, Julio Sosa Solis was shot in the leg. Federal agents said they'd been attacked with a snow shovel. Fox 9's Rob Olson joining us now after going through that footage. And first off, Rob, what does it show that we might not have seen then?
Well, it does show that there is a snow shovel, but it was tossed on the ground before the federal agent involved is even there on the yard. And it does show a very brief struggle, not an extended incident, before the agent then fired his weapon.
The night of February 14th became a chaotic one in North Minneapolis. In the hours after an ICE agent shot a man in the leg who'd come to the aid of a friend that ICE was trying to detain. Julio Sosa Solis was not seriously injured, but he and his friend, Alfredo Alejandro El Horna, were both initially charged with assaulting a federal agent, in addition to facing deportation. An agent describing a 3-minute fight and being beaten with a snow shovel and a broom handle. The charges dismissed 1 month later when the U.S. Attorney for Minnesota cited newly discovered evidence being materially inconsistent with the allegations of the agents, who were both put on leave for lying under oath. This is the video newly released by Minneapolis, taken from a city-owned camera near Lyndale and 24th Avenues North. It shows Sosa Solis standing in front of a home, snow shovel in hand. El Horna's car pulls up to the corner, The federal agents are right behind him. You see Sosa Solis toss the shovel into the yard, where it will remain, and run towards the door. El Horna falls down as he runs into the yard, the agent right behind him. The ensuing struggle lasts 12 seconds before El Horna slips out of his coat. Sosa Solis is helping. It's impossible to make out if he's hitting the agent. Impossible, too, without audio to know precisely when the agent fires his weapon, but we do know it went through the front door. What the video does show, though, is a far shorter struggle than agents attested to in sworn interviews, and that the snow shovel was never used as a weapon.
Now, we did ask the Department of Homeland Security today the status of those two agents placed on leave 2 months ago. They responded to us today with the exact same statement, word for word, that they gave us in February. So no update whatsoever into that investigation. Rob Olson, Fox 9.
And that was Rob Olson of Fox 9 News, Minnesota. I do apologize for that flub. Like they discussed, this leads into our second piece on this story. Like they said in the story, there have been numerous new point of views in video released about this shooting. And we kind of get into a more deep dive version of that. With that, here is CBS News Minnesota.
New at 5, attorneys say this video is now a critical clue in the criminal investigations against two ICE agents. It shows the scuffle that led to federal agents shooting a man in the leg. What may be even more important is what it doesn't show. As Esme Murphy reports, it could trigger the first charges against a federal agent from the ICE search.
We have slowed down and highlighted a critical 12 seconds the night of January 14th in North Minneapolis. It first shows one man, later identified as Julio Sosa Solis, holding a shovel. There is a car crash at the end of the street. Sosa Solis drops the shovel as an ICE agent chases Alfredo Alyorna into the yard and tackles him. Then there is a scuffle where it's difficult to make out what is happening. You can see the snow shovel on the ground at all times. ICE claimed 3 people attacked the agent with that shovel and a broom for minutes. The now fired Secretary of Homeland Security said this the next day.
Our agent is beat up, he's bruised, he's injured, he's getting treatment, and we're thankful that he made it out alive.
Weeks later, the acting director of ICE said video evidence has revealed that sworn testimony provided by 2 separate officers appears to have made untruthful statements, and that the agents were immediately placed on administrative leave and face potential criminal prosecution.
ICE's acting director, Todd Lyons, said the 2 agents had lied under oath.
The New York Times reports prosecutors did not watch the footage until nearly 3 weeks after they filed charges against the 2 men. In a statement on Monday, Mayor Jacob Fry said the video makes it crystal clear that just like the other situations during Operation Metro Surge, the federal government's account of what happened simply does not match the facts. And an attorney for one of the 2 men said this video is now being used in both state and federal investigations.
As for the 2 men, the assault charges against them have been dropped, but they spent weeks in federal detention. They are both now free pending the outcome of deportation proceedings. Esme Murphy, WCCO News.
Okay, that was WCCO News, CBS News Minnesota. Thank you so much for contributing that to our newsroom this evening. Now to a more grim story, may I say. So, this past weekend was Easter, of course. For children, it is, especially for younger children, they can be a little bit more obsessed on the Easter egg hunts and the fun candy that they might find. But what was supposed to be a fun, excursion, ended up ending in complete horror after a human skull was found during an Easter egg hunt in Southern California. For more information on this, I'm so sorry. For more information on this, here is ABC 7, Los Angeles.
Police have confirmed that a human skull that was found in a Long Beach park. The disturbing discovery was made by a family that was on an Easter egg hunt.
And Eyewitness News reporter Bianca Bono is live in Long Beach with the very latest. Bianca.
Well, for nearly 20 hours, the Long Beach Police Department and investigators with the medical examiner's office were searching this area of DeForest Park, honing in here. You can still see colorful Easter eggs in this area. This is where children were searching yesterday when they came upon what we now know was a human skull. Air 7 was over the scene when investigators were here this morning, and we have blurred it, but you could clearly see a skull underneath this white tent. Police tell us it happened around 5 p.m. yesterday. We're told this area was busy with several families celebrating the Easter holiday, and there was quite the commotion when that family unfortunately came across the human remains. Police were called right away and cleared out the area, launching their investigation. We spoke with a man who said he was here when it happened, barbecuing with his family not far from that Easter egg hunt.
We were literally like 3 spots down, and the family was over there. Like they had put the eggs down, and then the kids were finding them, and out of nowhere we just hear like, "Hey, Dad, Mom, there's like some bones over there," and yeah, we just, everybody went over there. They called the police, and then that's when they showed up, and it was really tragic. I started crying. It hurt my soul,
Fuentes said he did briefly walk over and saw what those children found, describing it as small. This morning, we're told members of the medical examiner's special operations response team came out to the scene. We watched them clear the area just before noon today, taking the recovered remains back to their forensic science center. Again, police confirmed to us it was in fact a human skull that was found right here. The ME's office will now work to determine the person's identity and, of course, what happened to them. Reporting live in Long Beach, Bianca Bono, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Okay, that was ABC 7 Eyewitness News in Los Angeles. Bianca, thank you for that story and contributing that to us this evening. So, the next story. A judge in Franklin County is facing possible impeachment charges. That's literally all the information that we have. For more information on this, here is WKYT News with more information on that story.
The Senate trial was set to begin on Monday, where the Senate would act as the jury to hear the evidence against Judge Goodman, but the Franklin Circuit judge's decision would seem to halt that process. Judge Philip Shepard said the impeachment proceedings should not resume, citing unprecedented and unique due process concerns. Judge Goodman was impeached by the House based on evidence presented that Judge Goodman made comments from the bench that the House deemed inappropriate. But Judge Shepard said the House failed to charge an impeachable offense and that the representatives failed to state a claim for a misdemeanor in office. The 20-page ruling also stated that the resolution failed by a wide margin to give Judge Goodman adequate notices of the charges against her and a meaningful opportunity to defend herself. The ruling says that the court finds and declares that legislative impeachment does not extend to a judge's ruling or court administration unless conduct involves criminal acts. Senate Republican leadership said that they would not be commenting on this, saying to do so would violate an oath taken to preserve the impartiality and integrity of the trial. In Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Okay, that was WKYT News in Kentucky. Frank, thank you so much for that information. Now, unfortunately, we have some other sad news regarding some shootings with the Immigrations and Customs Enforcement Agency. This one happening in Patterson. This was today, so we are getting into some of the stories that I put in today. But today, A shooting in Patterson led one person in serious condition and is now at a local hospital. For that piece of news, we have a piece for that one. And here's KCRA 3 News with more information on that story.
We begin with breaking news.
That breaking news is in Stanislaus County. The story continues to develop. A man was taken to the hospital after a shooting involving ICE agents. These are live Copter 3 pictures over the scene right now. We got some new information from the acting director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement detailing what happened on I-5 and Sperry Avenue in Patterson today. KCRA 3's Mike Giselle joins us live now from the ground in the scene. So, Mike, what are those new details that you just learned?
Yeah, and Lisa, right now we're standing right at the intersection of Sperry Avenue and Rogers Road, and this is where the roadblock now set up, blocking access to I-5 on and off ramps where this investigation is focused. Now, within the past hour, we watched as FBI agents arrived on scene to join this investigation, and within the past 30 minutes, we have learned that ICE agents were initiating a stop on a targeted vehicle when this shooting occurred, and that is central to this investigation. A statement from ICE, they confirm that officers were attempting to arrest a man named Carlos Ivan Mendoza Hernandez. They described him as a known 18th Street gang member wanted in El Salvador for questioning in connection to a murder. They went on to say as agents approached the car, quote, "The wanted gang member weaponized his vehicle in an attempt to run an officer over," and that is when the agents fired defensive shots to protect themselves, their fellow agents, and the public, which brings us back to this roadblock and this investigative scene. As for travelers, if you're familiar with this exit, Sperry Avenue off of I-5, you know this is where the Love's travel stop is, the Starbucks, multiple gas stations and fast food, all of it right off the freeway. But for now, we're being told that for much of the rest of the day, access to I-5, either on or off of Sperry Avenue, will remain blocked for much of the day as this investigation continues. Lisa?
Yeah, and
Okay, that was KCR 3 News reporting on that. Thank you so much for that. The next piece that we have, Texas, the Texas Board of Education is highly considering a new set of educational books be statewide put into schools' curriculum. Of course, one of those books including the Bible. For more information on this story, we have 13 ABC Houston. 13 ABC Houston with more information on that story, guys.
Welcome in and thanks for watching. We begin this afternoon with a question. What books should your children be reading in school?
And that is the big question the Texas State Board of Education is considering. Our Pooja Lodia has been looking into it and the big implications for schools all across the state. She joins us now live from the newsroom with some answers. Hi, Pooja.
Well, as of right now, lawmakers have delayed a vote on this. But just look at this. This is a list of more than 300 books that lawmakers are considering for students here in Texas aged kindergarten through 12th grade. There's a lot of familiar books here on this list. That's Frankenstein, A Separate Peace, To Kill a Mockingbird. But there are also books with a biblical focus. And listen, there is no question this is an issue that is controversial. We know that parents and teachers and students, as well as lawmakers, really do care about this. And you could see that at yesterday's meeting. In fact, there was so much public comment comment that speakers had to be moved to an overflow room. The meeting even had to be paused several times because tempers were rising among speakers and board members. The TEA proposed list includes several classic works, but also we counted at least 7 passages from the Bible. Many speakers said they were concerned about a lack of diversity when it comes to authors as well as subject matter, but others questioned whether that diversity even matters.
The proposed list include no Hispanic authors at several grade levels, including 9th, in which I teach. This disconnect limits students' access to texts that function as mirrors, windows, and pathways to empathy.
The board should not compromise. Intellectual sounding words such as critical literacy or culturally relevant pedagogy will be used to try to persuade you that books should be included that are either not suitable or have lesser literary value.
So as of right now, this vote has been delayed, but we have seen lawmakers discussing this really all day today. They are expected to talk about it again at the end of the week, then possibly again in April. According to the state, a decision has to be made, and this has to be implemented by 2030. Pooja Lodia, ABC 13.
All right, and that was ABC 13 News, 13 ABC, Eyewitness News Houston in Texas. Thank you so much for that. Next piece that we have for you is the University of Wisconsin's president is their board is officially convening after the University of Wisconsin president has made multiple refusals not to resign. Therefore, with him being in a lot of hot water, they have decided to meet personally the University of Wisconsin board to discuss his future employment. For this piece of news, we have Channel 3 News reporting on this story, guys.
Of Wisconsin says that he won't step down. This in response to the Board of Regents telling him to leave or be fired. Brady Mallory joins us now with more details. And Brady, do we know why the board told Jay Rothman to step down?
That's a good question. Rothman said he was given no explanation as to why he should leave UW and expressed surprise at being told to resign, retire, or face being fired. This was all in a letter to the head of the Board of Regents, Amy Begast. It reads in part, when I asked you to articulate reasons for the board's conclusion and apparent lack of confidence in me, you merely noted that each regent has his or her own perspective on the matter. He goes on to say, you did not provide any tangible reasons for the board's determination. In a separate letter to 2 of the regents, Rothman says he was informed the board is prepared to meet over the Easter weekend to terminate his employment. We contacted UW President Begast and the Board of Regents President, rather. She said that she does not comment on personnel matters. Susan, Sarah?
All right, thank you so much, Brady. Well, Rothman has been the leader of the University of Wisconsin system, which spans 25 campuses since 2022. The former chair and CEO of a Milwaukee law firm, Rothman had no prior experience administering higher education. His tenure has been marked by efforts to increase state funding amid federal cuts, debates over free speech on campus amid pro-Palestinian protests, as well as declining enrollment, leading to 8 branch campuses closing. The Universities of Wisconsin is a 165,000 student system. The news about Rothman comes months after UW-Madison Chancellor Jennifer Mnuchin announced she was leaving to lead Columbia University in New York. News 3 Now will continue to follow this story, and to get updates directly to your phone, you can download the free Channel 3000 mobile app.
That was Channel 3000, Channel 3 News, reporting on that in Wisconsin. We thank them so much for that report. Now, a very concerning case out of Ontario, California. A local warehouse employee has been officially charged in connection with the possible arson incident that happened last night with a 6-alarm fire in a warehouse in Ontario, California. For more information on this, we have ABC 7.
More breaking news. Fire destroys a massive Ontario warehouse in what investigators say looks like a case of arson. One person is under arrest. An army of firefighters battled the flames for hours. Eyewitness News reporter Leticia Juarez is live in Ontario with more on the extensive damage and what we're learning about the investigation. Leticia.
Well, we could tell you this, that firefighters definitely had a fight on their hands all last night. They were battling a 6-alarm fire, telling us this was no accident. As soon as they made entry into the building, they were able to tell that there was something suspicious about this. They've since arrested an employee for arson. Overnight, a massive inferno lit up the sky in Ontario after flames tore through a warehouse the size of 11 city blocks. The 6-alarm fire drew crews from across Southern California as firefighters raced to stop the flames from spreading beyond the massive building.
This was a large building, 1.2 million square foot warehouse.
The fire started just after 12:30 this morning at a Kimberly-Clark distribution center filled with paper products from familiar brands like Kleenex to Huggies. At the time, 20 employees were inside. One person was initially reported missing, but later accounted for. Ontario police now say that person was placed under arrest and is at the center of their arson investigation.
He was a current employee of Kimberly-Clark, and he is in custody for arson.
Fire officials say the blaze appeared suspicious almost immediately, pointing to the fire's rapid spread and the possibility of more than one point of origin.
Upon making entry, continuing to try to locate the seat of the fire, they quickly realized that there was fire throughout the structure.
That forced firefighters to shift into a defensive attack, battling flames from outside with ladder trucks and aerial streams. Ontario police lent a hand, using its drones to help crews get a better view of the fire from above. No injuries were reported. Even so, there is a human toll. The employees who operated this warehouse around the clock are now out of a job.
It's going to affect us all the way around, no matter how we look at it. Everybody that works here, it's just going to affect everybody.
Now the fire is essentially, fighting is actually stopped. There is no ladder trucks up. This is where the mop-up phase begins, where firefighters will definitely make that cleanup and start to take out some of that debris as they go into their investigation. As for a motive, we just don't know. I can tell you, though, that the air quality has been impacted, especially for residents over to this side of me. Air quality is poor, so they're telling people to definitely try to remain inside. And we're going to have an update coming up in our 5 o'clock hour from fire officials, and we'll bring that to you live. Reporting in Ontario, Leticia Juarez, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
That was ABC 7 Eyewitness News in Los Angeles. Covering that fire in Ontario, California. Once again, that was a 6-alarm fire. Like she said, the air quality was affected. Thank you so much for that. Next up, we have... Okay. I thought I deleted the wrong thing for a minute. Okay. The next piece of story that we have, let me get that to you. Alright, the next piece of story that we have is regarding a wrongful death lawsuit in Atlanta. An Atlanta congressman is being sued for a wrongful death lawsuit from the sons of one of the victims in that incident. For more information on this, we have Fox 5 Atlanta.
Welcome back to the 5 o'clock news. I'm Natasha Verma.
And I'm Richard Giacovis. The lawsuit filed by one of the son of one of the victims, and it comes just one day before Uerman is expected in court.
Fox 5 Jody Goldberg is live outside his home in Massapequa Park with what we know tonight. Jody.
Natasha and Richard, the lawsuit is also against Uerman's ex-wife Asa Ellerup and their daughter Victoria Uerman, and it comes just hours before a potential plea from Rex Uerman, who prosecutors say very well may have tortured women inside this home. We're standing on the property for the first time. We were given permission from Asa Ellerup's attorney, Bob Macedonio. This is where Ellerup and her adult children are still living, and it's where officials say they uncovered voluminous evidence linking Uerman to the murders. Arguably so much evidence it may have helped push him to change his plea. The lawsuit filed Monday night names Uerman, Ellerup, and their daughter Victoria on behalf of Benjamin Torres, the son of Gilgo Beach murder victim Valerie Mack. And according to the suit, Torres, who's now 32 years old, claims he was deprived of his mom's care and protection, alleging she was tortured ferociously at the hands of Uerman. The lawsuit also seeks compensation for money Ellerup and their daughter may have earned from a Peacock documentary detailing Uerman's life, saying they showed callous disregard for the victims' families. But Bob Macedonio, who's representing Ellerup, calls the suit reckless, denying the family had any knowledge of Uerman's actions.
That was his mother. And now it's both the image and the reality are shattered for him. And so he's suffering accordingly. And I can do nothing more than try to assuage that suffering by reaching the whole truth, which will at least give him some mercy.
This is America. People are entitled to, whatever they are entitled to do. They have absolutely no involvement in the actions of Rex Uerman, and we look to be fully exonerated.
Now, Uerman has been charged with the murders of 7 women sex workers whose bodies were found near Gilgo Beach, and sources say he'll be linked to an 8th victim on Wednesday when he pleads guilty. The father and former architect was arrested back in 2023 after DNA from discarded pizza crust recovered by investigators matched hairs found on or near the victims' bodies. Former NYPD detective David Sarney says a plea would be a difficult but meaningful step forward, giving families answers while avoiding the emotional toll of a trial.
Nothing to bring back their family member and bring back and alleviate the pain, but it's something. And that's the one thing you're hoping that this is, that on Wednesday they get something for all they've gone through.
And now Uerman's family, as well as the family of the victims, will be in court tomorrow. The case is scheduled for 11 o'clock, and you bet we'll be there as well. Let's send it back to you, Natasha.
All right, Jody, thanks so much.
All right, that was Fox 5 News in Atlanta. Thank you so much for covering that story for us. The next piece of news that we have for you, this is a busy night. We still have brand new news coming into the newsroom, including a very sad story, but a case of justice that's coming up later. But for now, the San Francisco mayor has officially set setbacks that will affect more than 500,000 people's jobs. At least said in a statement said by the mayor's office in San Francisco earlier today. Of course, as I said, these layoffs will affect a lot of people. For more information on this, we have ABC 7 San Francisco with more information on it.
We'll begin tonight with a backlash over major layoffs in San Francisco. The city sent the first round of notices today, cutting jobs to close budget gaps caused in part by federal funding changes and cutbacks. Today, more than 100 city workers learned they will be out of work. Mayor Daniel Lurie plans to cut 500 jobs over the coming months. ABC 7 Eyewitness News reporter Suzanne Fawn spoke with the mayor tonight and to union leaders who want other solutions.
Everyone is going to feel these cuts, unfortunately.
Faced with a $643 million budget deficit that could balloon to $1 billion in the next 5 years, San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie says he needs to take action now.
We are looking for $100 million in cuts to positions.
Layoff notices went out Monday to 127 city employees in various departments, including the Department of Public Health, Office of Economic and Workforce Development, and the Human Services Agency. Some civilian positions with the San Francisco Police Department were also cut. City officials say they're forced to make the reductions because of state and federal cuts, primarily stemming from President Trump's Big Beautiful Bill. The mayor intends to cut a total of 500 city government positions. Labor leaders and city employees say they're worried that these layoffs will further strain understaffed departments. IFPTE Local 21 and SEIU 1021 represent thousands of city employees. They believe there are better alternatives to layoffs.
We need new revenue to offset the loss of funding from the federal cuts. Prop D is going to raise roughly $300 million annually for the city by asking only the largest corporations to contribute just a little bit more.
They also call on the city leaders to use reserves. Lurie countered saying this.
Any tax that is on the ballot that may or may not pass would not come due for another year and a half. We as a city have been spending money that we don't have for years, and we need to be more financially disciplined.
City leaders say layoffs are necessary now to get the city on track for the future.
We need to get ahead of that. We need to avoid this cycle of cuts and cuts. We need to be building towards the future. We need to invest in downtown and invest in public safety.
The next round of layoffs is expected in late May or early June. In San Francisco, Suzanne Fawn, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Thank you again. That was ABC 7 Eyewitness News in San Francisco, California. All right, we have.
We begin.
All right, if you would just please excuse that little pop-up that just happened there. We just seem to be having some technical gremlins in the studio tonight. But our next piece for you,
update on the shooting involving Offset. We know that
okay, so you might have seen a bit of that story just pop up, and now that is what we're going to get to now. Another one coming from Fox 5 Atlanta. Rapper, well, first I should start with, we have had many infamous, throughout the years we have had many infamous rapper arguments or rapper escalations or rapper deaths or fights or whatever you could call them. We had Tupac and Biggie. We had various others come forward. But an Atlanta rapper named Little TJ has been arrested after the shooting of Offset and after he was injured after a shooting in Atlanta. This was supposedly a few days ago. For more information on this, as you saw, we have Fox 5 Atlanta.
Offset. We know that Offset was injured in the shooting, and now Police have announced the name of the rapper arrested. So rapper Lil TJ was arrested, and former Migos member Offset was hospitalized yesterday following a fight and reported shooting outside a South Florida casino. So rapper Lil TJ, whose real name is Tion Jaden Merritt, was booked into the Broward County Jail following an incident at the Seminole Hard Rock Hollywood. So Merritt is charged with disorderly conduct, and he's facing several other charges. The incident began around 7 p.m. last night in a valet area of the casino. Police report that a fight broke out, and that led to the injury of Offset. And so while TMZ reports that Offset was shot, a spokesperson told the outlet that the rapper is doing fine and expected to recover here. And while officials confirm that Offset was taken to Memorial Regional Hospital for a non-life-threatening injury, the exact nature of the injury has not been detailed by police. It's also unclear what sparked the initial fight in the valet area, and police again detained one other person at the scene alongside Merritt, but that individual has not yet been charged. Investigators are still working to identify other people possibly involved in this incident. A little bit of the backstory here, and Offset's ties to the Atlanta area. Before finding his solo success, he helped turn the trio Migos into global stars from their home base in Gwinnett County. He was raised just minutes northeast of Atlanta alongside his cousin Takeoff and his uncle Quavo. The group changed hip-hop with hits like Versace and 2 #1 albums, and this latest incident comes more than 3 years after his cousin Takeoff was shot and killed at a bowling alley in Houston in November of 2022. But again, 2 people detained in the shooting for Offset. Rapper Lil TJ was one of those people, and he's facing a few charges here. We'll continue to update you on this incident as we learn more. Offset is expected to recover from this shooting.
Okay, that was once again Fox 5 Atlanta. Thank you again for putting another story into our hands for this evening's broadcast. And now we want to turn our attention to a principal being injured in a shooting in a local school's main lobby. This happening out of Wisconsin, excuse me. A Wisconsin... Excuse me. Anyway, a principal has been injured and taken to hospital after a small altercation involving a gun, involving a shooting in the school's main lobby. For more information on this, we do have a clip to share with you.
Breaking right now, we are hopping on the air. We have just confirmed that it was Paul's.
We have KOCO5 News reporting on this story. We'll go ahead and let them take it from there.
Breaking right now, we are hopping on the air. We have just confirmed that it was Pauls Valley High School principal Kirk Moore who was shot at the high school just a few moments ago. Again, this is in Pauls Valley there in Garvin County. We are now also learning that the shooting took place in the lobby area of Pauls Valley High School. The sheriff told me, Garvin County Sheriff told me that no students were harmed. They have all been accounted for. They're actually in the gym right now. And parents, if you're watching, I asked specifically what you can do. You are being told to go to the gym at Pauls Valley High School and you can reunite with your child there. Again, one adult wounded in this shooting at the high school in the lobby, and we have confirmed that this was the principal, Kirk Moore. Just
horrendous news. You see a live look here. This is actually at OU Med here in the metro. We believe that the principal was flown from the scene to the hospital. We have reporters there at OU Med. We have reporters headed to the scene, to the high school, to cover this for you. We have been told that his condition was listed as, quote, stable. Normally conditions are, fair, serious, or critical. All we have been told right now is stable, but he was needing to be flown to the hospital from that location. Here is the principal, who we have confirmed was the victim of this shooting, Kirk Moore. Again, the shooter, the suspect, has been detained. We have not been told any information about the shooter, his or her relationship to this individual or to the high school itself. Pauls Valley, they are the lead agency on this, but let me tell you, it is all hands on deck there. The Garvin County Sheriff's deputies are there, Pauls Valley Police, OHP. It's just a massive response, as you, of course, can imagine. Again, all students confirmed safe. Parents, you can start to pick them up. The school had been locked down. They were securing the scene, of course, but you can now pick up your child at the gym. But that is the news that we just got about 3:24 on your Tuesday, that it was the Pauls Valley High School principal, Kirk Moore, who was shot in the lobby. The shooter, again, has been detained. They say no ongoing threat at this time, but we expect to get more information from the Pauls Valley Police Chief very soon. Again, we have you covered on this here on air, online, on social media. We will update everything we get on this shooting. Now we know of the high school principal, Kirk Moore, there in Pauls Valley.
Okay, thank you. That was Coco 5 News. That was KFCO 5 News reporting on that for us. Thank you so much for contributing that to us. Obviously, that just happened today. Pretty sad story there, and we will, if any more news comes in about that specific incident, we will try and keep you updated. Now we go to one person is officially in custody after a, quote, suspicious package report was made in Texas that ended up being a false alarm, confirmed by the Dallas Bomb Squad. We have a clip for you. Here's CBS Texas with more information on that story.
And safety concerns in downtown Dallas around the. We begin with the evacuations and safety concerns in downtown Dallas around the lunch hour. Something suspicious in a vehicle prompted an emergency response from law enforcement, and they focused on an area at Lamar and Elm, not far from El Centro College in downtown Dallas. Our Steve Pickett is there live, where the all clear has been given. Steve, quite an afternoon.
It was the largest law enforcement response I think I've ever seen in downtown Dallas, whether it be from marches, protests, violent events. It was pandemonium based on the number of people who were evacuated out of these buildings, based on what happened here earlier. And Karen, you know this. Let me go over my shoulder. Right across the street from me is El Centro College. There are officers still here on this scene at this location where all of this started. Pure tension. There was an SUV truck parked right in front of where those officers are now. Something inside that truck described as a suspicious package. That's how this started. DPD's explosive disposal team was rushed to this location here in downtown to assess what was inside that SUV and what to do about it. You can see in these images a robot along with a heavily protected specialist approached that vehicle. The DPD actually detonated a device on the back end of that vehicle. It was a Chevy Tahoe. Dallas County Civil Courthouse, its main administrative offices, local commercial buildings, all around this area, all of those locations placed on emergency lockdown with all of this. The city of Dallas issued that emergency alert. All DART trains, buses near the West End, all of that public transit, it was put on hold. It was stopped. Hundreds of students from El Centro, along with kids from Dallas ISD's Early College High School, all of them evacuated from this building as well. Police and deputies closed off all the surrounding streets to traffic. The explosives team cleared that SUV, and we were told around the 1:30 hour no threat was found. We spoke with students who credited El Centro's emergency response workers to guide them away from this campus.
I think we all were a little bit alarmed once we heard that it was like an actual like, it wasn't just a warning, it was a real thing.
So we were just sort of like sticking to what the teachers were telling us, and we were just getting like the basic information, but they weren't going into detail about what the lockdown was about.
What the lockdown was about, again, focused on someone concerned about that vehicle. Law enforcement responded. They saw something inside that car, and that's when you saw that explosive team respond. And again, because they wanted to ensure that people were safe in case there was some kind of device inside, that's when you saw the lockdown here in the Central Business District and the evacuation here at this college and other locations. And again, the all clear was given. Well, we know the person who owns that vehicle is now in custody simply on apparently an accusation of where he parked the car. That was essentially in a walk-through pedestrian walkway, no parking there. I should be also reminding all of you all that the concern about this very location, in case anybody forgot, almost 10 years ago, July 7th, 2016, 5 police officers shot and killed right at this very location. Police aren't saying if that was part of the reason why they responded so strongly, but it was definitely in the air, the concern about what we saw here today and what we saw then. Reporting live, Steve Pickett, CBS News, Texas.
All right, and that was Steve Pickens with CBS News, CBS 11 Texas, CBS News Texas. Thank you for reporting on that story. Now we turn to a man in Detroit who plotted a quote mass shooting at a Detroit high school has been sentenced. Of course, this supposed incident that he was planning was going to be carried out during a graduation ceremony. Anyway, he has been sentenced. Here is CBS News Detroit with more information on that story.
One of the men accused of planning a mass shooting at a high school graduation last June learned his fate in court today. CBS News Detroit's Alicia Bergio has more on his sentencing.
20-year-old Devon Shamar James Whaley stood before a judge on Tuesday to learn his sentencing. He's pled guilty to multiple felony charges involving last year's plot to shoot up a high school graduation in Pontiac.
Sorry to the community for my actions and my behavior. And I promise going forward, my behavior and my actions will change.
In the final moments before learning his fate, Devon Shamar James Whaley apologetic. Whaley, along with 21-year-old Jamarian Jarvante Hardiman, accused of planning to open fire at a Pontiac charter school graduation ceremony last June. 2 loaded guns and ammunition were found by deputies under parked vehicles. On Tuesday, Whaley's defense attorney and the prosecutor addressed the judge ahead of his sentence.
He has learned, and he is not going to make this mistake again. I can confidently say that.
It's the people's position that Mr. Whaley is now in a position where he needs to suffer the consequences of his choices. This was a decision that could have turned very bad very quickly.
Whaley sentenced to 3 years probation, with 90 days of that sentence spent at a Michigan Department of Corrections boot camp. A tether to follow. Judge Cheryl Matthews with this message to the defendant.
You are at a crossroads, Mr. Whaley. It's up to you whether you're going to continue on this road or take the exit ramp. If you do not take the exit ramp, I'm going to help you with that. Do we understand each other?
Yes.
Hardiman, the other defendant involved in this case, is expected to be sentenced in court next week. In Pontiac, Alicia Bergio, CBS News, Detroit.
All right, that was Alicia Bergio with CBS News Detroit. CBS News Detroit, thank you for reporting on that story for us and contributing. Thank you to all of the news organizations that have contributed to our programs in the past few months. Now, this should be one of our second to last story if nothing else immediately comes in. But a new study has shown that the cost of having a one child, the cost of having one child within 1 year, has officially surpassed over $300,000. A statistic that I'm sure will be used in many health classes around the country soon to be. We have CBS News 8 San Diego with more information on this story.
Tonight, we're getting a new look at the cost of raising a kid.
Most parents would agree their kids are priceless, but economists say the average will cost you up to $300,000.
CBS 8's Jenny Day is live in the newsroom to break down the report and do the math. Jenny?
Yeah, good evening. It's a good thing they're cute, right? And for many, it doesn't stop at 18. So with inflation spiking the cost of almost everything, moms and dads are shelling out about $18,000 a year per kid. No surprise, food is the #1 culprit, according to the Brookings Institution. Their study shows the cost of raising a kid increased by $26,000 or 9% from just 2 years ago. It took a wide range of expenses into consideration, like housing, haircuts, and sports equipment, because it has all gone up. For many families we spoke with, clothes, toys, and back-to-school supplies are also breaking the bank.
Aside from gas and health insurance, you're looking at groceries, diapers, typical day in and day out things.
Most schools or daycares are close to $1,000 a month, so that's another like $12,000 a year alone.
Ooh, yeah, the study pointed to ways to cut costs. For example, some families are trying out meatless Mondays and clean out the fridge Thursdays. We also did speak with a few people who are not planning to have children. Some say that money is a factor in their decision. Reporting live in the newsroom, Jenny Day, CBS 8.
All right, that was Jenny Day with CBS News 8. Thank you so much for reporting on that story. And now I will do one final check while this story is being shown, but this should be our last story. And unfortunately, it is a sad one, but also a story of justice. A former FedEx driver has been officially charged for the murder of a 7-year-old girl. This was after the FedEx truck ran her over and unfortunately killed her. With more information on this piece of news, we have...
Developing now across Texas.
Again, this is in Houston. We have... excuse me, we have KENS5 reporting on hopefully our final story tonight, guys.
Developing now across Texas tonight, the former FedEx driver accused of kidnapping and killing a 7-year-old girl in North Texas pleads guilty on day 1 of his trial. Back in November of 2022, Tanner Horner reportedly told police he had hit Athena Strand with his van while backing up, and that then he kidnapped and strangled her out of fear that she would tell her dad about the accident. He later told authorities where he left her body. But today, just before the trial got underway, Horner decided to plead guilty. The judge instructed the jury on what comes next.
There will no longer be a first phase of the trial to where you will be determining whether or not guilt has been proved beyond a reasonable doubt. I will give you an instruction to find him guilty. So now your sole duty will be to listen to all of the evidence that is going to be presented to you, because you will be using that evidence to determine the proper punishment to be assessed.
And depending on the jury's decision, Horner could face the death penalty.
Okay, and that was 5 News in Houston. That is all of the stories that we have for tonight, but we do have one developing news story. We obviously do not have a clip for this, but within the past hour that we've been recording this newscast, Marjorie Greene has, the state Senate of Georgia has officially decided that Marjorie Greene has lost her position. So now now the look for her predecessor is underway. The look for her successor is on the way. Excuse me. For now, I'm AJ Baker. That is the end of our newscast. Again, thank you to all of the news organizations that have helped us throughout today's newscast. Again, the news organizations, excuse me, will be accredited in the description for all of the news stories that they've provided to us in tonight's broadcast. For now, I'm AJ Baker. Have a good evening.